What's up, losers? Today I'm back with another r/fatlogic extravaganza. Taking a look at a couple of intriguing fat acceptance posts, sharing my opinions on them, and having a few laughs. This is episode 137 in the fatlogic series. And I can't wait to find out what the fat activists have got for me this time. So without further delay, let's get into it.
Do you know, the percentage of people who maintain long-term weight loss is 0.001%, with 72% of this group gaining back weight by year 5 after initial weight loss. And, the women of this group only maintained this weight loss for up to 5 years, because they averaged eating 1306 calories a day, and performed moderate to high-intensity exercise 60 to 90 minutes daily. Sounds more like maintaining an eating disorder to me. Hard pass. But this is what culture holds on to, with the thought of, one day I'll be a part of this 0.001% elite group. You do not have to keep up these unrealistic expectations. It's not your fault. You didn't fail. There is nothing wrong with your willpower. Your body is doing its job to keep you alive and healthy.
Okay, that's it. I'm not taking it anymore. Usually I don't object to exaggerated claims from fat activists about how many people manage to lose weight and keep it off. Because ultimately, I think the key issue is not how many people put the weight back on, but why they put the weight back on. And I don't want to get bogged down in a pedantic dispute over the exact numbers involved. But this is just going too far. I mean, 0.001%. 1 in 100,000. Really, freaking really, I am calling absolute bullshit on that figure. And I refuse to give this poster the benefit of the doubt over it. No freaking way do only 1 in 100,000 manage to keep weight off. What a load of rubbish. Get real. As for the point about the people who maintain their weight loss eating 1,306 calories a day, and exercising for 60 to 90 minutes. I don't believe that either of these is necessarily a requirement for the maintenance of a healthy weight. Although this might partly depend on the person in question's height and other factors. To me, though, these behaviors seem more indicative of an ongoing commitment to the healthy habits that led to the weight loss in the first place. Particularly in the case of the daily exercise. And this indeed is a fundamental requirement for the long-term maintenance of weight loss. Whatever it is that you do to lose weight, you have to keep at it once you reach your goal. And if you revert back to your old habits, the weight is going to come back. Because of course it is. You're doing the same shit you were doing to get fat in the first place. What did you expect to happen? The post says that eating 1,300 calories a day and exercising for an hour or so sounds like an eating disorder to them. But all that really tells me is that they have no idea what eating disorders are actually like, and that they will equate them to any attempt to exercise discipline in one's day-to-day life. Because to fat activists, I guess the idea of exerting any degree of sustained control over diet and exercise is simply unthinkable, blasphemous, sacrilegious, even, and eating disorders are not real, debilitating conditions that people deal with. They are just a helpful label to slap on anything they don't like, as a way of justifying their own self-destructive lifestyle. Sighs. How sad. To anyone who read this post and found it at all convincing, I will just say, don't buy what these people are selling. Losing weight and keeping it off does not require you to be a 0.001% elite. Nor does it require you to develop an eating disorder. It just requires a little discipline and a commitment to healthy habits. These fat activists are not looking out for you. They are holding you back so that they can feel better about their own failures. My advice is, do yourself a favor and don't give their nonsense the time of day. You'll be a whole lot healthier for it. Moving on.
My thin friends, to each other. I'm trying to avoid eating processed food, because I noticed it makes me feel bloated and sluggish. Another thing, yeah, I feel so much better since I've cut out sugars. I'm a head out. Your hatred of processed food is a vehicle for your hatred of fat poor people. Not because that's the only food fat or poor people eat, but this is the stereotype and conflation. This is why fat phobia is a race and classed conversation.
Ha ha, what? What happened to intuitive eating? All these supposed friends of yours are doing is following their body's cues and eating things that make them feel good. Right, I thought that was what fat acceptance was all about. Sure, I might not want to cut all processed foods or sugars out of my own diet, but if these people's bodies are telling them that that's the way to go, then there's nothing for it. The intuitions giveth, and the intuitions taketh away. Unless the whole intuitive eating thing was never actually about following hunger cues to begin with, and it was always just another excuse for fat activists to eat more. But it couldn't be that. Could it? I mean, they always seemed so sincere. There must be another explanation. Maybe there's been some kind of covert alien invasion, and the aliens have been tampering with thin people's hunger cues, using high-tech gamma rays, or something like that. That makes much more sense. That'll be it. No, but seriously, I really don't see the argument here. If you're for intuitive eating, you have no grounds for complaint on this one. None. Thin people are entitled to their intuitions too. And for these people, their intuitions are telling them that eating a ton of processed foods and sugar is not the way, so unless you're a giant hypocrite, it is incumbent on you to respect that. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Oh, and one more thing. Why are you even involving yourself in this situation in the first place? They weren't even talking to you, much less asking your opinion. The only reason for you to get upset about other people doing things differently is massive insecurity, which, if we're being real, simply drips off every word of this post. So in future, if you're not looking to get absolutely clowned, I would suggest minding your own business. Or at the very least, keeping your embarrassing nonsense to yourself. Just my 2 cents worth.
Diet culture. Chips, so bad for you. Birthday cake, too much sugar. Coffee, empty calories. Butter, too high cal. Burger, totally unhealthy. Gummy bears, toxic ingredients. Reality check. Chips, no moral value here. Birthday cake, celebrating life. Coffee, soul nourishing. Butter, helps absorb nutrients. Burger, absolutely fine. Gummy bears, nostalgic AF.
Okay, so, I don't have too much to say about this one, other than that I find the dichotomy it draws between so-called diet culture and food appreciation unhelpful. Like, I don't see why we have to choose one or the other. It's fine to enjoy all of the foods in the picture, while understanding the problems with them, and moderating your consumption of them accordingly. There's a healthy middle ground between total austerity and total indulgence. And that's what we should be aiming for. But this post seems to suggest that you have to pick one lane or the other, which I simply don't agree with. Knowing that cake, for example, has a lot of sugar, should not prevent you from having a birthday cake on your birthday. But it should prevent you from having big slices of cake every day. It's fine to acknowledge the positives of these foods. But if you leave out the downsides altogether, you're painting a very one-sided picture of their overall impact, and setting people up for a healthy and unsustainable dietary approach, which is no better, and arguably worse, than a lifestyle of miserable abstinence. So let's not go overboard in pumping up one side or the other. Okay, the key is balance. I repeat, the key is balance. Oh, and this is something of an aside, but I think that the soul-nourishing caption for a cup of coffee, or at least, what I think is coffee, now that I look at it again, It could be hot chocolate. But either way, soul nourishing might be overdoing it a little. Like, it's not some magical elixir or something. It's just a drink. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Ha ha, but anyway, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you had fun going through these posts with me, and hearing my hastily cobbled together responses to them. What do you think? Do 0.001% of people maintain their weight loss? Does intuitive eating only apply when it's making people eat more? Does coffee and/or hot chocolate nourish one's soul? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll replace your nostalgic gummy bears with actual bears, and they'll rip you to shreds. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.